episode of Take It or Leave It. I'm your host, Tiffany Jenkins.
I'm also here. but by the skin of my teeth, my name is Meredith Masony. I am not on drugs. I would like it to be known that I am here to deliver a podcast of mediocre proportions today, but I showed up. I don't remember the intro at all.
I'm not triggered, in case anyone's concerned. Meredith does seem faded out of her gourd. I was concerned when we first got on here today. I said, Meredith, we're not recording a podcast today because she was drooling and only had one eye open. And I said, I'm concerned about your well-being. And she said, YOLO, motherfucker.
I did.
So you might need to listen to this episode in 2x speed.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we could do that. But here's the thing. I'll just fill everybody in real quickly as to what's going on so that we don't get, well, I mean, we're still going to get emails after this for people to be like, people are going to be like, so we noticed Meredith on the podcast and we're sending you some rehab choices.
Yes, intervention.
Yeah, and we're all going to have an intervention at a local Starbucks to make sure that she's okay. So you guys know that I have been on hormone replacement therapy for 9 going on 10 months now. August will be the 10th month. It's been great. I have been, I would say, thriving, not surviving. Like, I have been doing exceptionally well. I had my 12-week, so every 12 weeks I have to have blood work drawn because they have to make sure that you are progressing and that your hormones are doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. And so after my 12-week checkup, everything was good, but my progesterone levels were not where the doctor wanted them. And that's because I had stopped taking the progesterone because we thought at that time that I was going to remain stable. A couple of things happened as a result of that. Well, I lost the ovary back in February, right? Which
I can't believe we still haven't found it.
Yeah.
So stupid. Sorry.
I can't believe we haven't found it. Bitch is gone. She's on a milk carton somewhere and nobody is bringing her back. So the right ovary is gone. And so when you start taking out parts like ovaries and shit, it messes with your hormones. And so I did not realize how much of an impact that had on my progesterone, as well as just I'm also going further into perimenopause and menopause as a result of it, right? So the doctor was like, look, I'm glad you're feeling really great, but I am concerned about your progesterone levels. And so I am going to put you back on progesterone, but not only put you back on it, I'm going to put you on 3 times the original dose. And she was like, don't freak out, but you will have some side effects when you start taking the medication again. And I was like, okay, not a big deal. That's fine. So last night we took the girls, and I say girls because we took 4 teenage girls plus Brian to go see the movie Twisters.
Did you watch it in 4D?
No, I don't do that because of my motion sickness.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
But
they like throw tree branches at you.
Oh, I'm sure. Because even in the regular movie theater, I'm not going to say the movie was good.
She was hoping old Glenn would throw some wood her way.
Okay.
Oh, that was perfect.
So let's rewind for just a sec. The girls have seen this movie, not my daughter, but the other girls that were there had seen this movie already twice.
That's excessive.
Because of how much they love Glenn Powell. Now, I did not know who Glenn Powell was. So when Sophia was like, we all want to go see Twisters and Glenn Powell is in it. And I was like, first of all, Glenn Powell sounds like an accountant, not somebody that I'd want to fuck around with. So I was like, who is Glenn Powell and why does anybody on this earth care about him? And so then I Google the Twisters poster and I was like, oh, I'll go to the movies. And
Meredith.
And so we bought tickets, but it was for the 9:25 showing.
Was that an accident?
No, that was the only thing they had available. So unfortunately, when you're in your mid 40s and you go to a 9:25 showing with 5 teenagers, the movie doesn't even start till 10 p.m.
Yeah, whether or not you go with 5 teenagers.
It's late, right? So we go to the movie and it was okay. I'm not going to say that it was cinematic gold by any stretch, but it was fine, because I loved the original.
Me too.
So for me, it was kind of like, I'll take Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt any day.
Devon Sawa, first of all.
The what?
Devon Sawa was the reason to watch that movie.
Which one is he?
He's the one who follows me on Instagram.
I know he follows you on Instagram. I mean, which character?
I just wasn't sure if I had mentioned that at all ever in our history before.
Oh, no, you've mentioned it multiple times. I just don't remember his character.
Neither do I. But he is so fine, girl.
Okay.
Anyways, so you go to the movie, you get out really late. Then what happens?
So we get home. It's 12:30. And I was like, oh, I have to start taking my progesterone. Because I had not taken it since my follow-up was Friday. And I was like, oh my gosh, I finally filled the script. I need to get back on this routine.
Now's the time at midnight.
So I did not realize that taking the dose that they prescribed to me at 12:30 at night was going to put me into basically a coma. Straight coma. Dave woke me up at what time?
When I left?
Yeah.
7:15.
So at 7:15, he rolls over and he's like, I need to get up. I'm going to go. He had to go to the laundromat. He goes, stay right here.
Okay.
And when, okay. Stay right here. And when I get back, I'll set up the podcast.
Aww.
I closed my eyes again.
Wait, then what was the point of waking you up, David?
Well, because if I wake up and he's not there, I will have a full panic attack.
Oh,
so
okay, all right.
Telling me that he's going. So then I swear 2 seconds later, he walks back into the room and I was like, okay, just tell me when you get back so I have a chance to wake up. He's like, it's 8:45. I've been back. And now it's time to get up. And he brought me a cup of coffee.
Aw, Dave.
And something to eat for breakfast. And he was like, I need you out there in 5 minutes.
Oh, what is
and I was like, okay.
Not to digress, but how was the coffee proportion today?
Okay, so that's a whole second story. So
she was displeased with it. It wasn't good enough.
I thought that's why she came out of, looking like she did. I thought the coffee was disappointing.
No, so I did it. I don't know if you saw it. I did a reel the other day about how Dave wants to start making me coffee in the morning just as a kind gesture. And I loved that he wanted to do that, except when he goes to make the coffee, he knows I like extra creamer in my coffee. So he read the bottle of creamer and he's like, well, a serving of creamer is 1 tablespoon. So I gave you 2. And it was like drinking swill, because when I say extra, I mean a little bit of coffee and mostly creamer.
Right.
And so I was like, I love you so much, but I can't drink this.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Can you see how my coffee?
Yeah.
How there's the coffee to cream ratio.
Oh, yeah. is perfect.
But I swear, I don't know what's wrong with me, but if someone else makes me coffee, it tastes better no matter what. No matter what. Even if it's
Listen.
not how I make it. Like I always think it tastes so much better when somebody else makes it. And maybe it's the love they put into it. And that's what I should focus on. You know what I mean?
Well, and that's what you are focusing on. But I'm a wretched troll. And I was like,
I'm just kidding with you. I'm just kidding with you. My
So
friend Sierra's like that. Flip
So
will
I
go
did. Yeah.
20 miles out of the way to get her like a sandwich. And he'll give it to her and she'll be like, "Did you get mayonnaise though?" And he's like, "No, they didn't have mayonnaise." And she's like, "That's really too bad." And he's like, "How about a thank you, bitch? How about a fucking thank you for the effort?" Sorry, kitty. I just scared my cat.
Oh my God. Yeah. So
yours is 4-1. 4-1 ratio.
So I did a reel about it and I was like, look, I need to preface this with how much I love him and the fact that he's done this for me. But as a coffee drinker, I am super specific and I need my coffee done a specific way. And the creamer is to combat the rage and death in my soul. And so if it's not appropriate, I can't start that day with less I'm gonna kill somebody. And so I need it, you know? And so, and the internet agreed with me. They were like, look, you know, I feel you on the creamer. I could just people were like, I just put a straw in mine and just like add a drop of coffee. Like people are creamer obsessed. So.
And I think the bigger message here is like, it's okay because I'm the kind of person who would then spend the rest of my life drinking coffee that didn't meet my standards or like sneakily shooting some extra creamer in when he turned his back instead of just having a boundary and being like, listen, I love that you make this for me and I really appreciate it so much. It means the world to me. Maybe one day we can do it together just so I could show you how I like it. And then if you want to keep making it after that, you know what I mean? Maybe give him a tutorial.
No, he got it today. It's perfect.
Oh, good job, Dave.
That's really he got it. He got it today.
Wanting to do it after you were a bitch.
Yeah. And so it was, you know, and of course I was doing it for shits and giggles, right? Because I thought it was funny. I thought the concept of it was funny, which is why I made the reel. But anyway, it was the wrong night to start taking my progesterone again at such a larger dose from what I was used to, because it hit me hard. And so I literally walked out here to do this podcast at 8:59.
9:05.
9:05.
I was legitimately concerned. You look like something out of a movie. Specific movie?
What specific movie?
It involves people coming back from the dead. I really wanted you told the joke before we went on the podcast and I was begging you to tell it on the podcast and you don't even remember because you're so faded.
Oh,
it's too late now. It's too late. You didn't pick up what I was laying down.
It's okay. So I literally said to Tiffany, it'll be fine. I basically just look like I had been buried in the pet cemetery and exhumed to come out to do this podcast because
it made me laugh so hard at the time. And I was like, please say it again. But
because it's true. It's true. I know that I feel and look dead. I get
it's
that.
So much better. It's so much better now. I was really like concerned. I didn't think we were going to be able to do it. I was like, realistically, I've had mornings like that and I go to the hospital.
No, I did not. I did not need to go to the hospital. I just, it threw me for a doozy. And that's when people are like, and they ask the questions all the time. I get so many hormone replacement therapy questions because I talk about it so much because it's been such a big game changer in my life over the last year. And the thing is you have to tweak at times. You have to change things up and it can be a little bit of a roller coaster until you dial it in. But the doctor was adamant. She was like, I really need you to start the progesterone again because progesterone is one of those hormones that protects your body against certain things. And I need you to go back on it. And I was like, okay, all right, I can do this. And it's going to take me a while to get it dialed in. I just realized now, like, I cannot party like a rock star until 12:30 and then take it. Like,
yeah.
And when I say party like a rock star, take teenagers to a movie theater and be home at 12:30 and take it. Like
I didn't want to correct you and let you know like our definitions of partying like a rock star are different. I'm on Jason Aldean's tour bus naked doing
Oh,
cocaine
God.
off of his wiener. Like that's my idea.
Oh my God.
Just kidding. Kind of.
Oh my God. Oh, that made me
So
giggle.
we're coming back from the movies, and these girls are singing "Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy," and like, hey, wouldn't it be funny if you dropped us to walk and Glenn Powell picked us up and gave us a ride home? And it's like, what is wrong with these?
Yeah, that's a little too much.
Listen, these girls are Glenn Powell obsessed. Now, when I saw the movie and saw who Glenn Powell was, I realized I had seen him in another movie.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, he's the guy from
The Sydney Sweeney movie.
Yes, the Sydney Sweeney movie. So I didn't know who Sydney Sweeney was either, but Dave was like the blonde actress with the huge tits. And I was like, oh, that's right. We watched that. And it was pretty good. It's a rom-com.
Yeah.
Anyone But You? Is that what it was called? Yeah.
I believe so.
And and I thought that movie was pretty good. I enjoyed that movie. I liked him in the movie. I thought it was stupid because it's like this scenario would never in a million years happen. But let's put these two extremely attractive people together
Right.
and then see how it works out. Like, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to fuck you, idiots. Like, come on. Like, the plot of every rom-com, and here's the thing. That's why they make rom-coms, because none of that shit happens in real life. You want a rom-com? Okay. Well, then be ready to just watch couples therapy and
Yeah. I don't watch rom-coms. They're not, I mean, I'll watch them if they're on or whatever. If somebody was like, hey, I want to watch this movie, I would watch it, but I don't like selectively choose. I like psychological thrillers.
we know what you like. And I'm also not a rom-commer. Which is hilarious because do you know who is a rom-commer? Dave, straight up rom-commer. You're showing me pictures of Glenn Powell now. Oh, he was in Top Gun.
I never saw that either.
Don't remember him in Top Gun, but okay. Yeah, no. Maverick Top Gun, not the original, because Glenn Powell would have been a baby then.
Right.
He wasn't a toddler in Top Gun. He was in Maverick, the sequel. But he's obviously attractive. I'm not going to sit here and say he's not attractive, but his character in Twisters in the beginning is like super douchey.
I haven't seen it.
Well, I mean, see it, don't see it. I don't know that you're really going to.
So, Tiffany, you ever scroll through Instagram?
Do I?
Yeah.
That's my middle name.
So we're laying in bed the other day.
Oh my God.
And she
here
likes
we go.
to play this game where she's like, do you find this woman attractive? What about this one? And what about this one?
It's a really fun game that ends in a huge fight. So
Yeah.
play it if you'd like.
So I say, hey, what's your type? And I put into the search, brown, bald, 40-year-old Spanierican.
Don't say that.
Right? So I put that in there. Shockingly, not many options come up.
That is surprising.
So I put in brown guys. She likes tan guys.
You didn't put in
All
tan
these
guys.
come up. Tan Latin guys is what I put in.
I think you put in Latin.
So
Latin
I start showing
men.
her all these pictures, right? What about this guy? A page with 1,000 guys on it. Oh, none of them are attractive. Only you.
Aww.
Yeah, don't. That's horseshit.
I think that's a perfectly right answer, Dave.
I find half of these guys attractive myself.
Dave.
All
So
right.
then-
Well, that's a conversation.
That's a
So then she
conversation.
goes, I go, well, who do you find attractive? And she goes, Cristiano Ronaldo.
Ew. I mean, not ew.
Jason Derulo.
Oh.
And I forget who the third one was. But then she's like, she looks at me with
The Rock.
Oh, The Rock.
The Rock.
So picture these three guys.
I bet he's
she
got a
looks at me
rock.
and she goes, but I like you because I don't like muscles. All three guys that you just picked are nothing but muscles.
Yeah,
I
literally.
would divorce you and marry them today if they asked me.
Wow, that's
Right?
strong.
So then she looks at me with a straight face and she goes, yeah, but you look just like Cristiano Ronaldo.
Aww,
And I was like, are you
And
blind?
I'm like, ew.
Did your vision go out completely? And
No, I
now
could
you
see
can
it.
no longer see.
No, I
Aside
do.
from us both being tan,
You're
there's
not.
no resemblance.
First of all, you're not tan. You're Puerto Rican. And I do enjoy men
Whoa.
of Puerto Rican, African American, Colombian, are, you know, like I like, that's my type, right? Like I'm attracted to
Anyone but white men.
it's everybody has preferences.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
mean,
Good way to sum it up.
Yeah, like Dave, if Dave will send me pictures and be like, I like this, do this. And it's these women with these massive, huge butt implants that have these asses that bounce like on a fucking, what are those things? Like a robot hinge thing where it's like, deep, 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 you know, up and down, up and down. Well, they're basically like twerking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I couldn't do that. If
know.
Dr. Miami did my ass. Like,
you have such a great ass, Meredith. You really do.
I
would make it clap. You could make it clap.
That's what I'm saying.
No.
So
And
when she lost weight, I was like, you got to fix that shit because
Dave,
I'm not having this. We've been
wouldn't
fighting
say that
him.
out loud.
I'm trying to get. her to gain.
he got very angry.
Yeah.
So obviously, we've already talked about this. I fell into a pretty rough depression that was a result of I went through some shit, have been going through some shit, and when it was at the darkest point, I'll be honest, I stopped eating. Okay, it happens when you are in the middle of a depression, when you are in the middle of
Yes, girl.
of dealing with heavy shit. I was diagnosed. I stopped eating. And I'm not sure exactly how long I stopped eating, but it was a while. I lost close to, if not a little bit more than 15 pounds.
And I'm like, wow, you've lost weight. Look at you. You look super healthy.
And
That's why you got to be careful what you say to people.
And it wasn't healthy. It was me being in a pit of despair and not being able to eat. Or if I could eat, it was tiny, tiny amounts of stuff. And you know, Dave is like, I really want you to put weight back on because I like you with some shit to hold on to, you know? And I'm like, I get it. I do. And I am. And here's the thing. I'm guys, I'm doing okay. I'm eating 3 squares. Just like in prison, I've got my 3 squares. They're happening.
Coke Ices and Reese's.
And I've had a bit of an addiction to Coca-Cola Ices and Reese peanut butter cups as of recent. But it's
surprising.
So after therapy, here's the problem. After therapy, I need comfort. And so we go to a gas station and I get a Coke Icy and a king size pack of Reese's.
Cute. Okay. So it's become a thing.
Hammer it in the car.
Okay.
Barely get the wrappers off.
Okay.
And so it's become a thing now where the second we leave the therapy office, I'm like, we're going to go to Racetrack, right? To get an Icy. And he's like, of course.
That's cute.
So I have to get back onto a healthy routine. I'm just not there yet. And I am now. And you also know that I'm an exerciser.
Yeah.
So I don't think it was the right combination of obviously not eating, trying to get back into exercise because it is one way that I hugely combat my anxiety. And it just caused me to lose more weight.
Right.
And so I'm okay. I'm not in like any like dangerous weight zone.
I don't think you need to clarify. I think we all get it. I think when you get stressed, you're either an overeater or an undereater. I mean, I'm sure there's a gray area and there's people who are in between, but it's very common. And I don't think you need to clarify. I think people get it, but I understand the responsibility of being on a public platform and talking about food, because I just confessed to the same thing last week, that I would do it out of guilt. I would starve myself out of guilt from binge eating the night before, and then by the time the next night came, I'd be so starving that I would just binge some more. So
it's cyclical,
all disordered.
Yeah, it's cyclical, and it's not uncommon, and it happens, and it's not the first time in my life it's happened.
Yeah.
We'll just be honest with that. So and it is, and what I'm learning through therapy is this is lifelong. I've got to figure this out, because this is for the rest of my life. This is how I have to figure out how to live, how to function, how to embrace it and do exactly what I need to do.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, I'm finally coming around to that. All right, fine. Let's figure this out. So we're working on that. But it's, of course, a lot all at once and all at the same time. And so, but it was sorry.
For those who don't know, she just stopped mid-sentence to do a dainty little yawn. She is not with us.
So, but it was, and I wouldn't have traded. It was a great night to take the girls out to the movies. I feel like I've really leaned into the space of where my teenagers ask me to do something, and I'm like, all right, let's figure out a way to make it work. Cute. Because I have realized how short this is. Matthias was away at pole vaulting camp for 4 days. I was so excited for him to come home on Monday night. And he got home Monday night at 6:00. At 7:00, he comes to us and says, hey, by the way, I just got a text from my FIU college coach. I need to be in Miami tomorrow for a training session.
Oh my God. So did you have to fly him there?
No, he drove.
Well,
it's the first time he drove, and he left. He got up in the morning, and I was able to spend a couple of hours with him, which was really nice. And we talked all about camp and what was going on, and
Matthias and all those Miami girls.
But then he got in the car with there's another kid who's luckily in our area who's also going to FIT to be on the track team. So they carpooled.
Love.
And they drove down there, and they had their training session yesterday morning. And I texted him, and I was like, how did it go? And then he FaceTimed me, and we chatted, and he was like, session went great. Everything's good. We're actually just going to, and these are his words, we're actually just going to check out the campus and kind of hang out here so that I can sort of get a lay of the land, because we take him in like 20 days to drop him off for good. And so he was like, I just wanted to I want to see the campus and check things out. And I was like, great, that sounds like a wonderful idea. 2 hours later, I get a Life 360 alert that he's driving around Miami. And I'm like, well, that's weird. He's supposed to be on campus checking out the campus.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at Dave and I go, where the hell is he going in Miami? And he's like, well, he texted me. They decided to go gamble at the Hard Rock.
Dave's in on it.
I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's at the Hard Rock. He's like, well, they're going to play cards. I was like, play cards?
Mm.
And that's the thing. All summer, he's been going down to Best Bet and playing poker.
Who?
Matthias.
Is that like something he wants to pursue, or is it like an issue?
No, I think something is going on right now with this age of teenage boys where they're all going and playing poker places.
Mm.
I have no idea.
They're trying to be adults.
Yeah, but like, whose money are they spending?
Hence the problem.
Well, he actually didn't play at all yesterday. His buddy played. He didn't. So we've had the conversation, and it's like, look, You go play all you want. You want to try to make the World Series of poker, knock yourself out, right? Whatever you're going to do. But what you have to know is how to be responsible.
Yes.
I don't care if you're a good player or bad player. You have to know how to be responsible. And if you think of it as, oh, I'm going to go to the movies tonight, right, with my friends, and it's going to cost me $40 for dinner and a movie. That's how you approach it. All right, we're going to go play cards. So it's a night out of entertainment. I'm going to dedicate $40 or $50, and that's it.
Yeah.
There's no like, hey, I'm going to bring the ATM card and I'm going to hit that bitch up every 30 seconds
Smart.
to
Okay,
get
good.
more money. So we've had that conversation about it, and he does a pretty good job. And yesterday he's like, I didn't even play. I just wasn't feeling it, and I didn't feel like doing it, so I just stayed and watched.
And I don't have an issue with that. It's just, it's one of those things where it feels like such a slippery slope.
It is.
Because for me, I've gambled once in my life. Okay. And I'll give you the scenario. So we were in St. Croix visiting Dave's family. We had been married, I don't know, maybe 2 years. Like didn't have kids yet. We were young, 24 years old, maybe 25. We go to the casino on the island. I am sitting at a table playing a game. I don't even remember what the game was. Roulette. And I'm chattering like what I do, right? Like, and you don't know me at 25, but the level of chatter and ridiculousness that I was at 25 versus today is magnified by a gazillion.
She's calm now.
And so I'm in there talking, whatever. Let
that sink in, Tiffany. She's calm.
I can't. My jaw's open.
And so the guy next to me was like, I'm going to need you to shut up because listen, he goes, I'm going to need you to shut up because I'm here to pay my mortgage and you're fucking with my Zen. And in that moment, I was like, because why was I there? To like hang out, right? Yeah. Like it was like a novel thing. I had never gambled before in my life. I was just kind of like bebopping around at stuff, you know? And this guy's like, I'm here to pay my fucking mortgage. Shut your trap, lady. And I was like, oh my God. So finally that guy left.
Is it Drew?
So finally that guy left and I put all of my chips on some number, black 7, whatever it was, red 7. I don't fucking know. And I won hundreds of dollars.
Whoa.
Hundreds. Like that's a huge amount of money, right?
Did you feel so guilty?
No. So I cash out all my chips. I take my money home. I'm throwing it around.
There's a photo shoot of her in the bed.
I was like,
with money.
So I said to Dave, I go, in one night, I was able to figure out roulette. I know the entire system now.
That's not.
So I made him take me back the next night.
Oh God.
I took my $400 that I won, got my chips, go in. I do the same thing. I put it all on one number.
Stupid.
And I lose it all.
Yeah.
So then I go to the ATM. I take out $300 more.
Yeah.
I get my chips. I do it again. I put it all on one number. I go, that's it. I'm never doing this again. I lost all my money. And I was so sad. And I never gambled again because I was like, if this is what happens.
You're at the table and there's like a loud 20-something and you're like, shut the fuck up. I'm here on business. Like now you're that guy. Now that you know what loss feels like.
I just never did it again. I never did it again. Now, the most I have, and I say I never did it again, I have gone to places and put money in a slot machine.
Yeah.
And I'm talking penny, quarter, like 25, like 50 cent dollar, and been like, okay, I have $50 that I don't care if I burn. And it was just fun to play. But I would never, take money and gamble again. That was like, because at 25, $300 to us was a massive amount of money.
Right.
I mean, we were teachers who were making 20 something $1,000 a year on salary.
Yeah.
So $300, I went home and I was devastated. I was like, I probably should go into witness protection, change my name. I need to start a whole new life. Like the debt collectors are coming.
Right.
And it was crazy. And so I'm just not a fan. I do not like the idea of taking my money, putting it on some table, and then just being like, crossing my fingers and being like, all right, I really hope this works out because I got to pay that mortgage. Like, I cannot do that.
It's the worst. It's the worst feeling. I used to do that when I was on drugs. I would go into like those little corner arcades. They're like these really like skeezy little, you get a card and swipe your card and gamble. And I would go with my dad. I'd be sweating because I was detoxing, like just sweating, and I'd be so sick. And my dad would give me a card and I'd be sitting there just watching the things rolling, knowing that like my future, my happiness depended on what numbers fucking popped up on this thing. So it was like, when you're all in, like when you have everything to lose, because if I didn't win money that day, I was going to be sick and withdrawing and detoxing from drugs if I didn't win money. So it's like, it's not even a fun game anymore. It's life or death. It becomes rageful. Like you cry, you get, and I wasn't doing it in front of my dad. I didn't want him to know, but inside I was like fucking dying. Like I had so much to lose.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, and it's, and I'm not making light of gambling because it is a true addiction, like complete has you in the palm of its hand and then squeezes the life out of you. Like,
is somebody saying that you're making light of it?
No, I was just making sure that it was known. Like, I'm not making light of gambling. Like it is a very intense addiction. And to me, like, having that experience at that age just taught me real quick, that is not the, like, I can't do that and be like, well, this was fun.
Yeah.
Didn't like it. Did not like it.
Right.
So it kind of bothered me when, he really started to enjoy poker, because I was like, I do not want you to ever be in a position where you're sitting at some table and you yell at some stupid woman who's like, man, I'm having so much fun. And you're like, shut up, I'm paying fucking bills. Like, I don't want that to happen ever. Right. So for me, when he started playing cards all the time, I was like, I don't like this. I don't like this. But I also have to realize that's not who he is. He hasn't shown to be that. He has gone and won a couple of $100 here and there and whatever. And he did lose $160 maybe one time, and came home and sat down and he was like, yeah, it really wasn't fun. And it made me really think about the fact that wasn't smart.
Nice.
And I was like, okay, all right, good. I'm glad you lost the money. I mean, I'm glad you had that feeling.
The boys are doing it to feel like they're grown up.
I get it.
They sit around, they hang out, and they just feel grown up.
Yeah. I can understand that. They're definitely, Matthias this summer has truly started to push the boundaries of like, I'm 18, I'm a grown up, I can do what I want.
Right.
And I know that that's part of the push and pull for him to get ready to leave. And so I try to remember that when we have these interactions, because like the other day he looked at me, he can be so stupid sometimes. He looked at me and I was talking to him about this trip to Miami, because sometimes he says the dumbest shit. And I have to remember it's because he's 18 and he is dumb as shit at times. But he's like, we're going to, so-and-so's dad is going to drive us to Miami and then we're going to take the train back. And I said, you're going to do what? And he's like, we're going to take the train back. I said, okay, that's fine. I go, what time do you need to be back on Thursday? And he's like, well, we have to be back at 1:00. I said, honey, you cannot take a train from Miami and be back in Jacksonville at 1 p.m. He goes, why? The train is fast. And I'm like, oh, dear God. I was like, a train ride from Miami to Jacksonville will take you no less than 8 to 10 hours. He's like, that's not true. I was like, Google it, dumbass. So he looks it up and he's like, oh, the train leaves at 8 a.m. and it gets in at 11:45 p.m. He goes, why? Isn't it just the one track? And I went, oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, buddy, no. I said, first of all, it stops because along the way there are other stops and people have to get on and get off.
right.
And he's like, but it's only $75. I said, that's because you gave them a whole day of your life to sit on a fucking shitty train. I was like, you can't. I was like, buddy, you have to start thinking about this shit and making plans because you're literally going down to Miami with zero plan of how you're getting back. And that's not possible.
Right.
So I was like, you're going to have to change your plan. You're going to have to drive your car now, and we're going to have to figure this out. So then I looked at flights and I was like, well, maybe I'll just fly him back. But flights were crazy. It was $250 one way.
So you made him walk.
So I was like, you're going to have to drive. And so they figured it out, and they're en route now to coming home because they had to be back by 1 because his friend has a doctor's appointment or something. But I was like, dude, you have to start learning this shit. Like, if you're going to go out in the real world and figure things out, you can't assume the night before you're going to take a fucking train somewhere that's going to take you a day and a half to get to the location.
That's some shit I would do though.
Well,
So I
he's
can't
never
even, be mad.
I mean, in his defense, he's never taken a train.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he assumed if it was going from Jacksonville or Miami to Jacksonville, there are it just drives there. But I'm like, that's not how any of this works.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's never been on public transportation. He's never been on a bus. He's never. So, they don't know what they don't know.
Exactly.
But at the same time, I looked at him and I was like, it's not how any of this works. And then I was like, why don't I put you on a Greyhound bus? You really want to become an adult? Let me put you on a Greyhound bus because you want to talk about an unpleasant experience.
It's actually, it's on my bucket list to ride a train. One of those trains that you have like a little room.
I'm with you. I want to go coast to coast on a train.
Yeah, I think that would be so fun.
But the point of that is to stop along the way, see sights, have a trip, have an adventure.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, what?
No, I don't want to have an adventure or see things.
Tiffany.
I want to sit on a train.
Yeah, but you get off at the stops and then you do whatever and then you get back
with the
on.
hobos in the cattle car?
Okay, we can't.
I don't know what's on there, but I know that I've seen movies with cozy little train rooms and it's just like chukka, 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 chukka. And you just sit in there and you nap and sleep and read and
all right.
chill.
I've never seen you read. Are you planning on taking that up?
I'm a new person nowadays.
Right.
And I've been doing a lot of thinking about reading.
So, speaking of your life choices,
I've been thinking about starting to read.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What are you about to say, Dave?
You know we love you.
Oh God.
Uh-oh.
But
Okay.
some of your life choices need some consideration.
Oh, that's for sure. But what are we talking about?
How the hell do you drink orange juice without pulp?
Oh,
You're a freaking monster.
that's so funny. I did not know where we were going because there's so many life choices of mine that are questionable that I didn't.
Well, how do you know she's drinking OJ without pulp?
Wait, Dave, are you the one who wrote that?
Yes.
Oh, Dave. Okay.
When did you see her drinking OJ without pulp?
No, he didn't see it. Flip and I had a debate. We were playing this game about hot takes and your controversial opinions, and you debate them and stuff. And so one of them was orange juice is better with pulp. Agree or disagree?
Oh, disagree. So gross.
Disgusting. Horrendous.
Hate it.
His reasoning was even worse. I'm like, you're drinking pretty much just like orange semen, right? It's like orange sperm, if you think about it. He's like, no, it's the meat. It's the flesh.
Ew.
I know. I was like, that's how you're gonna prove. You're gonna tell me that you're drinking the meat. But anyway, the internet went wild. People from all walks of life came out, including your husband.
Apparently, I didn't even see this clip.
Do you know how Dave feels about?
Oh, first of all, my husband's obsession with orange juice is not normal.
Okay.
So he will drink orange juice at breakfast, at lunch, at dinner with a slice of pizza.
No, that Dave.
He wants to chew his orange juice.
You make it so hard to fight for you. I
Gross.
I cannot. I think it's so. And to each their own.
Take a bite of some kind of pastry or an Oreo or a cookie.
Oreos and
high.
orange juice.
A mouthful of chewy orange juice.
Blech. Chewy orange
so
juice.
good.
Come on,
Dave,
baby,
you need to
want
lay off the fucking edibles. There's no way that you're mixing orange juice pulp and Oreos because I will fight you.
It's so good.
Come on.
There's no, Meredith, you got to put a stop to
What'd you
this.
say? Your brownies? A nice warm brownie with orange juice? Oh,
Okay.
go heat up your cosmic brownie and have a little orange juice with
cosmic brownie.
No, they're from two different families, Dave. Orange is from like the healthy nature-based side,
so good.
and chocolate Oreos are from like the processed, you're gonna die early side. You can't
it. So
combine
they cancel each other out, and it's
two
neutral.
profiles.
People are in here now commenting. They're like cornbread and orange
cornbread
juice.
and orange juice.
Stop it.
Well,
coffee cake and orange juice.
cornbread and orange juice makes more sense to me.
How about coffee cake and coffee? Weirdo.
Yeah.
Weirdo.
Anyways,
No.
I deleted my dating app.
Oh, okay. What type of update can we have? Let's preface that before we get in, because I've not had an update.
Yeah, we don't have to get in anywhere. I just wanted to update everyone because I know some people are following my journey. And by some people, I mean one of you is really invested. It's my mom. It's her. Nobody cares. I deleted the dating profile because there's someone that I'd like to try to water that seed. Not in a dirty way. Okay. So let me reword it.
Thank you.
I'd like to. There's no way to say it not sound.
You want to plant your flag?
No, I want to nurture this instead of entertaining incoming inquiries because I don't think it's possible to fully see if something will thrive if you're watering a bunch of other gardens also.
You want him to water your garden?
I want him to put his garden hose into my spigot.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. No. But do you get what I'm saying?
I do.
Fuck,
I do.
Help me, motherfucker.
I do. And I think that's great because you've come to that decision on your own.
Yeah.
So that's what I love about it. Yeah.
It was too overwhelming. I had paused it because I was like, let me sort my stuff out. And when I got to sorting, I realized there's one person who's consistently never once made me question my position in their life or what their intentions are. Never for 1 second have I wondered. And I've felt so safe and special, as safe and special as one could feel in a life of fucking horror. Sorry, that was dark, but I just mean the world's a really crazy place and everything feels fake and everything feels surface level. And this just feels a few levels deeper than that. The conversation's so cool, dude. Like I usually go for like lumberjack, people who are masculine and like too masculine, like to the point where they're afraid to be anything other than masculine. And I didn't realize how unattractive that was until I met somebody who wasn't afraid to be in touch with their feminine side, if you will. I guess I got to elaborate. It's not that he's in touch with his feminine side. He's just not a macho douchebag asshole.
Okay. And I don't think there's anything wrong with saying somebody's in touch with their feminine side, because I think individuals have both masculine and feminine
They do.
properties. And because
They
people
do.
are like, you shouldn't even have to label it. And it's like, well, let's be honest. People, when you say masculine, they get an idea in their head. When you say feminine, they get an idea in their head. So to say that they have and are able to experience and have conversations and,
Yeah.
and be able to be in touch with both sides of that. That sounds like balance to me.
Yeah, absolutely. We talk on FaceTime time like every night after the kids go to bed for like 3 hours a night, consistently every singular night. And it's become like a fun end of the night ritual habit. And I realized, I'm like, if I'm dedicating this much time to this person, if this person is holding my interest and making me want to get to know them better, like maybe I just focus on that for a little bit. And we both know it could go south, and it might, and it probably will, and that's fine. But in the meantime, I don't need to overwhelm my plate when this is enough for me for right now. This feels like enough for me for right now.
I love that. Yeah. I love that. I think that that's great. I just love that you came to it on your terms and you didn't let other people pressure you into getting rid of the app because they wanted to lock you down.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to be locked down for a while. Like, I'm free right now. I am at the beginning of a journey. I could do whatever the fuck I want for the rest of my life. I don't have to answer to any man or woman. I don't have to explain myself. I don't have to tiptoe or pretend to be something I'm like. I don't have to right now. And I'm not about to sign up to do that unless I'm 100% fucking sure. And so that's going to be a while. Are you reading the comments? Are people talking shit? I'll fight.
No.
I'm sweating right now.
Nobody's
so hot in here.
Just lots of hearts. And I love this. And this is fantastic.
Oh, so when you said people were saying you don't have to label it, you just mean in general? People said that, or did somebody say that today? Because it doesn't matter. I don't really care what people think, actually. I don't think to talk about it.
I don't think anybody said that at all. No, I think I was just talking about.
I have a problem with getting defensive and picking fights with people who I think are picking fights with me, and there's literally no one. That's something that I'm working on. So I'm willing to fully admit that I am assuming that people are talking shit about me, and it's me projecting.
Any shit. Yeah, I didn't see any shit. I saw.
That's why I stopped reading the comments during the lives because I get feisty.
Yeah, I think it's all good. And I think that like I said, bottom line, you came to this on your terms. And I feel like you can feel good about that and feel secure in knowing that that was your choice.
Yes. And there were some people angry in the process. And that's okay.
So I'm trying to think if I can share this from therapy. And I think I can. I think it's fine. I have had a huge issue with feeling responsible for Dave's feelings. So when I do something, or when something comes up, or there's an argument, and I'm not talking, when I say argument, I could mean just a simple disagreement or something like that. Like we're having a minor kerfuffle, if you will. I then assume, absorb, and internalize his emotion and reaction to it and try to own it and take it into my space.
Same.
And the therapist is like, you can't do that. You gave him information. What he does with the information is on him. That is his choice, his reaction, his way of processing it. And you can't do that.
You are not responsible for someone else's emotions.
You are not responsible for someone else's
I've heard that
emotions.
for years. I can't adopt that.
And it's been
so hard.
Yeah, it is probably, it's in the top 5, top 10 at least of the issues that I have. And when we go to therapy, it comes up every session.
Yeah.
where I'm like, well, I said this or I did this, and then he said that, and then I was like, and then I spiraled, and then I was this and that, and she's like, I'm telling you this again. You cannot take responsibility for his emotions. He cannot take responsibility for yours. The only thing you can do is hold a space for him to let him know that if he's upset, you are there for him. You love him. You will take care of him. You will make sure he's safe, and vice versa, right? So it's like, it's so hard to do though when you are so used to absorbing other people's emotions, internalizing them, and then assuming worst case scenario immediately of what's going to happen as a result of that conversation.
I just did that during this episode.
I know, it's hard.
I just did that during this episode.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, guys, I'm happy. And I think I'm going to pursue this. But fuck you guys if you got anything to say about it, because I do what I want, bitch. It like, okay, calm down. Guilty conscience. Like,
and
what the fuck?
But that is, and it's so hard to do. That is so exhausting and so tough to do, because you just try to take all of it and then figure out what you're supposed to do with it. And the therapist is like, nothing. It's not yours to take. Give it back. And it's like, what?
I need somebody to follow me around though, like for real, and say that shit for a while, because it's hard for me. It's hard for me to process it. I like to feel like I can control people's emotions to the point where, like, if I say something and I'm watching someone's face and it doesn't land the way I feel like it should, I will spend the rest of my night like wondering, like, they secretly hate me. They think I'm stupid. They think I'm an idiot. I should explain to them what that joke meant so that they understand, because and it's just so exhausting. And but honestly, as time goes on, I've given so much less of a shit. It used to be my biggest fear, what people thought of me and who I offended. And I still care, but I care a lot less.
Yeah, that's good. That's very good, because it is, I'm telling you, when I say that our therapist tells me that every week, she's probably exhausted by it too, right? She's like, okay, we're going to go back to what I said.
Yeah, but I think it helps
9
as
weeks.
time goes on.
Yeah. Yeah.
You start to realize it.
Right. And last night we were in the middle of a conversation. It wasn't an argument. It was barely, I don't even know if it was a disagreement. We were just in the middle of a conversation that got a little bit heavy. And Dave was like, you're not responsible for these. These are my emotions. I need you to know that.
Oh, he's helping you with that?
Yeah, well, and he knows he knows exactly where I went and what I was doing. And I have to verbalize now. The rule is, when we have these conversations and things get heavy, I have to verbalize to him the emotion that I'm feeling and what the thought attached to that emotion is. And so I had to sit there and be like, I am full of anxiety right now because, and then I had to state the reason why. And then we had to talk through that, because the rule is he has to hold space for mine and I have to hold space for his. But it's not about fixing the other person's emotion. You can't. You just can't.
Yeah. Well, that's helpful. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah. I mean, that was just one thing that, and she has talked us so many different, like, coping tool. Like, I hate the whole, what's in your toolbox? And it's like a fucking sledgehammer, bitch, because I just want to cause chaos and tear shit down. And she's like, that's not what we're doing today. Put the sledgehammer down. We're going to talk about tools for repair. And I'm like, fuck repair. Let's get some dynamite. And she's like, no. And I'm like, okay. So she, and it's funny because,
next time you're here, Tiffany will bring you to a session.
Oh,
You'll have
is that an option?
You would love.
I would love to
her.
mediate. I'd be like, okay, so can I give you my perspective, doctor, on what their problem is, and we can compare notes.
She's wonderful. But the point is, it really is great because she has given us so many tools to when we're in the middle of it, and to break things down.
It's very cool that you guys are willing to utilize those tools.
Oh, it's listen, for anybody that's going through counseling that is solo, counseling that is couples, counseling that is family, anything that you're going through. I know it's really difficult in the middle of it to see the light and to think like there could possibly be an end of the tunnel, so to speak. And I don't know that there is, if we're being honest. I think you might get out of one tunnel and a little while later you may go into another one, right? I think that that's what life is. But you can get through and manage and learn and cope and make choices in a better headspace than you are right now. You can do it. But you have to put the work in, and you have to say, I will not enable the poor choices and the bad behavior that I have made, because that is not who I am. That was my response to my emotions in the moment, and I do not have to choose to do that moving forward.
Amen.
And that is one of the biggest things that she has taught me, because she's like, you are not your emotions. The actions that you make when you're in the middle of those emotions are the choice. If you don't want to keep making that choice, you're going to have to change the way you deal with your emotions. And I was like, I feel personally attacked right now.
That's so true, though.
And she's like, you should, because you need to make better choices when you're having that emotion. And she's right. And so I'm like, okay, let's do this. And it is really good, because there have been times that I have gone into therapy already fully crying, just knowing and anticipating what the session was going to be, and left feeling 1,000 pounds lighter.
Right.
Because
you didn't think you could.
And I never thought I could, but you can.
Wow. What a great
And then I
takeaway.
get a Coke Icy.
One of the things that, so I like to think a lot, and I tend to overthink a little bit. And one of the things that I've learned, is I used to think that she would share something, and I'm like, that won't work. I'm not even going to try it. And then I realized I am doing it wrong. Sometimes you have to just trust and try it, and not know that it's going to work, and then it works.
Aww.
And it's
That's huge.
Yeah. I mean, shit. I have a little journal I write stuff in, and
you two are fucking inspiring. I'm serious. It's really inspiring.
And I mean, you talked about not reading. I don't read. I don't write shit. And she's like, try writing stuff down. So I write it down, and 9 times out of 10, that's enough.
Wow. But, I think your willingness, both of your willingness, is amazing, because it doesn't work if both people aren't willing.
Yeah, right. And that's really what's tough, because I do get these emails from people, and it's like, I'm ready and I'm there and I want to go, and my husband doesn't. And I'm not saying that that's the case all the time, because obviously it isn't. There are men who want to go to therapy and wives or women who do not want to go. It happens absolutely both ways. Obviously, the majority of the people who follow along with me are female. So I get these. And so my advice to them first is always, if you are ready to start therapy and you have the ability to do so, even if he isn't willing to go, you need to start.
Great advice.
Once you start,
so the therapist can tell you what a piece of shit he is, and you can leave.
Okay. Once you start, I think then you will be able to bring back some information that you can say to your spouse or partner or person, hey, this is what we've been kind of talking about and going through. I'd love it if you would come and just listen. You don't even have to talk. You don't have to say a word. I would love it if you'd sit in the room and listen, and kind of tiptoe, like baby step, and like dip the toe into the water type situation. And I know that because there were times over the last 20 some odd years with Dave and I, where I had asked him to go to therapy and he was adamantly against it. He asked me to go to therapy. I was adamantly against it. We had gone separately. Then after we had Brian, we started going together with him and together a little bit as a family on and off. Then we started going more frequently separately again. And it wasn't until, I don't know if it's been 8 months, how many months it's been. No, it's over a year that we started couples therapy on and off. And it's only been a couple, like 3 months or 4 months, whenever I started talking about it here, where we've been going together.
Mm-hmm.
And we still go separately. But we're going together and really using the tools.
Love it.
That she's giving us. And it has, for me, and this isn't me being dramatic, which is one of my fine
Specialties.
traits. It's been a lifesaver. Not being dramatic with that one.
Oh.
True lifesaver. So I always urge people, like, and I know how expensive it is.
Yeah,
because
that's the biggest problem.
We don't have insurance that covers this or any type of visits or any of those things. Like, we don't have access to any type of like healthcare coverage for that. So, it's expensive, and we understand that. And there are things that we have to choose to not do as a result of just paying fucking therapy bills.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at. That's okay.
Absolutely.
So I do wish, I just wish our country would get on board with understanding how important mental health is to solving all of these other problems, because the root problem here lies in the fact that we have people who are mentally unwell.
Can you and I, it's been a dream of mine to start a nonprofit. Maybe we could start a nonprofit that helps people get counseling, and we can find like therapists that are willing to do it for discounted rates, or people who are willing to donate for other people to get help who need it. Maybe.
Oh, that would be amazing, because it truly is such a shit position to be in when you can't afford the help that you so desperately need.
Absolutely.
And I think I said this, I'm positive I said this on the first, like when I talked about being diagnosed. I knew from a very early age that I had something else going on.
Mm-hmm.
This was not news. I hid from it. I lied about it. I pretended. Not news.
Mm.
I knew from a very early age that I had something else going on.
Yeah.
And that in and of its own just proves I'm not fucking special. I'm not the only case where that was the issue, where there was,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, not even a little bit.
Right.
So I think we'd have to really brainstorm and figure that out. But I'm telling you, like, me, I'm down to
love it.
To go down that rabbit hole for sure.
I wanted to start a nonprofit that paid for people to get into beds after jail,
Mm-hmm.
who want to, or after rehab, who want to go to a halfway house. That's
Right.
something I'm super fucking passionate about also. And I actually did have a little, whatever. Anyway, I would love to, but let's just take it one day at a time and let's fix our own shit, and then we'll help other people.
Yeah. Well, I think there's definitely ways that we could connect and figure things out.
Yeah, because we have such an opportunity with our platforms.
Oh, yeah. What was that, Dave?
What? Can we tie that into the blankets?
Oh, you want to tell everybody about your blanket idea? He told me this at like 3 a.m. this morning, and I was like,
"So
holy shit, Dave, that's fucking amazing idea."
Wait, so don't say it.
No.
Oh, no.
So we have
good.
the linen business, right? So table linens that are, 72 by 72 or 114 by 52, whatever. And some will get stained and unusable.
For the homeless.
Yes. I want to buy comforter batting and get two of them and sew blankets.
That's so freaking cute.
Because we have bags and bags of unusable linens.
I have 4 50-gallon trash bags of linens that can't be used. And I was
Aw.
like, if we bought the batting can't be expensive. I just don't know how to sew.
No, batting isn't expensive, but the thing that we have to figure out is, and you said it last night, linens are not thick. So the batting would have to be an appropriate weighting in order to sew it so that it keeps in warmth.
You put one of those foil blankets.
Yeah, but in the
inside of
summer
it.
months, maybe you just do the linens because they're light, they're easy to carry.
Individual
You could.
ones,
Yeah, you could do straight linen ones with batting, because it does get chilly here. It does get chilly here. And you have to also realize that a lot of these churches and other places that have homeless missions could also they probably, when they're like, okay, we have a need finished here, let's keep doing this and we can send it out.
Yeah.
So he said that last night, and I was like, that's genius, because it's because I was like, what is the option to do with these? Because we didn't want to throw them out, because it's like, no, you can't use them in a restaurant again because they're stained, but they have a purpose and an ability to have a purpose.
Absolutely. I love it. That's very thoughtful, Dave.
So yeah, he needs to definitely do that.
All right. Well, if you guys do something like that, I would like to be involved, because it's been a dream of mine to have a nonprofit, and I'm trying to find my place in life.
We've been talking about the same thing as well in that respect, because it's so important that and the thing is it doesn't have to be some like, oh, I really have to think about this. What could it possibly be? The linens have been sitting under our nose for the last 2 months, ruined in bags.
Right.
It's literally right fucking there in that respect. Right. So like that one is like, this is easy. We just have to find a local person who can sew these for us and get them out so that we can find the proper networks in town, which I know that we can find the networks easy, because for Toys for Tots, we do the Alpha and Omega House, and we do a couple of other ones, which you helped with this past year, Tiffany. You were a huge supporter to the Alpha and Omega House, which helps unwed mothers and women who have been victims of domestic violence get back on their feet. And you were a huge donor and supporter in that this year. And so we were able to donate thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth of diapers and feminine hygiene products and cleaning products and all sorts of things to those women. And they were so over the moon thrilled. And we've been working with them for 3-4 years now. And so I know we can find and get into the right spots for that. I know we can. So that's definitely going to go to the top of the list.
Well, we put it out in the universe now, so let's manifest that shit.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that I know we can find somebody in town that can sew.
I love how we're both
blankets.
Having mental breakdowns, and we're like, all right, what can we put on our plate? Like, we thrive in the chaos. But I do. Yeah. I think it would be great, and it's been on my heart. So if it's been on your heart too, maybe we should do
Oh, yeah. And I think that it can all fall under the same umbrella, right? Because we're dealing the mental health issue inside of the homeless population is huge. I mean, it's the studies that have been done as to why people end up in that situation. It's because they didn't have access to mental health care, doctors, physicians, all sorts of things. They fell on hard times, and they weren't able to, they didn't have the support that they needed. So it all kind of goes underneath that same umbrella, right? And I think that there's ways that we could intertwine and do this and figure some shit out.
I was just on a call with some of my supporters, and one of them has become a friend of mine. She's going through so much shit. She was listing all the shit, and my jaw was hanging open. And I was like, are you able to unpack all this with a therapist? And she's like, I can't afford it.
Yeah.
She was crying. And I'm like, fuck, dude, that sucks. I've had to offer to pay for therapy for people who are very close to me.
Yeah.
I haven't had to, but it's like they've expressed like, we want to, we just can't afford it. And I'm like, well, this is how bad you need it. Like, I will cover your first few sessions. Like, it's paramount.
Yeah, it really is. And unfortunately, we live in a country that does not support preventative care in any way, shape, or form.
Amen.
Everything that our country wants to do in whether it is the mental health space or the physical health space is a fucking Band-Aid. And that's what makes me so angry, because they don't want to hear from advocates. They don't want to take people before the problem gets bigger. They want to just say, here's a pill or a patch or a Band-Aid. Just hobble along until we dig you a fucking grave. That got dark.
Yeah, wow, that was
Sorry, but it
No.
really does anger me because it's the whole
A
thing that
larger
I've been
bottom line that way.
What?
There's a larger bottom line that way.
Right.
That's it.
Right. Yeah. I can't even get started
Yeah,
with
we
lobbyists and
can't.
pharmaceutical companies and everything else. But I mean,
London.
the things alone that I've dealt with on my health journey, the amount of fucking surgeries and different things that I've had to go through and deal with where doctors told me there was nothing wrong with me.
Oh,
Yeah.
Forget it.
Yeah. Well, I don't mean to put your business out there. You already talked about progesterone. The doctor's like, if you had progesterone, it would have prevented all of this inflammation and you could have likely kept all of your organs that have been affected.
If I had hormone testing prior to my hysterectomy, which I begged for, she said I most likely wouldn't have had the hysterectomy and I would have been able to keep the ovaries and I wouldn't have been growing fucking cysts and tumors because progesterone basically is a protective barrier on those parts.
Well, you've taken that and you've turned around and you've been changing the lives of dozens of women with your experience of preventative care. So while it sucks that you had all your shit removed, I think you're doing something wonderful about it. And you're going to send me the information after this. And maybe I could fucking get my shit squared away. I think you go through these things and then you turn around and you help others, like with the Joy Wellness and stuff, so that they don't have to experience the same thing you are.
Yeah. And people are like, it's so funny because somebody was like, I love that you're talking about this, but I don't think that I can afford to pay for that out of pocket. And I was like, so don't go there. Go to any one of your primary care doctors or any one of your OBs that you're in that's in network. I was like, I'm not telling you that this is the only place you could go. I'm telling you to go advocate for yourself, no matter what that looks like, because balancing your hormones has such a huge impact on the rest of your fucking internal organs and your systems.
Yeah.
That it can help stop and stop the damage that's happening and relieve symptoms that you're having that you're taking other medications for that you don't have to take those medications for.
Right.
So yeah. So let's look, I may have been in a coma when we started, but now I'm sweating and I'm all ramped up. So
I'm sweating too. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's our progesterone.
No, maybe it's just the fact that we literally, I think we hit the nail on the head today. I think we definitely have to move forward and talk about this. I think that's,
I would love
and
to.
I just had another idea that I'm going to talk to you about off camera because
I wonder if it's the same idea I have.
Oh my God, how crazy would it be if it's the same idea?
It would be very crazy. Does it involve a way to get?
Yes.
Does it involve something that we're talking?
Yes.
Yeah, I already thought about it.
Okay. All right. We got to go, guys, because we got shit we got to do real quick. But we'll see you next week on another episode of Take It
or Leave It, an advice-ish podcast hosted by two struggling moms
who have figured some fucking shit out. We'll see you next time.
Bye. Love you.